Hello guys, it's Sophia, and today I'm doing the Monochromatic challenge where I'm using one color to create a piece of art. So I'm using the watercolor color Sap Green. I chose it because it's an interesting name and I am looking to do something along the lines of hand lettering. So I figured 2 words are more fun than one. Guess that was my reasoning. In addition to this watercolor paint, I'm using a number 1 round brush, a number 5 round brush, a number 7 round brush, a paint palette, and some eyeshadow applicators. Because these are really handy. I love these guys. You know that little ball of tissue you use to soak up the extra water? Well, these guys are great at soaking up excess water on your paintings. They're like little tiny sponges and they're so absorbent, and they can even get into the really small areas, which is great. So I use them for that now. And also, tip, you can take the heads off of these when they're worn out and they become a tiny palette knife, which is helpful for me because I don't want to stir with a huge palette knife in these little tiny palette wells. I mean, that's just not realistically gonna happen for me. And before I was stirring with my brushes, so this makes it a lot easier. I'd be like, oh wait, there's some blue in there. How'd that get in there? Oh, that's from stirring with my brushes. That's right. So now I'm just putting my paint in there, and I'm going to take some of it and put it in the water to dilute it and make it less concentrated for my background, because I don't want that to be heavy at all. I want it to be really light, but also really interesting. I'm working on my backgrounds because a lot of the times I don't have a background in my art, and that's something I would like to do. And here you can see this huge palette knife wasn't gonna work out for me, and the tiny one luckily does. And so now I'm using it. And I have a 1/4 sheet of Bristol paper, and with my number 5 round brush, I'm just going to be painting the background, and I'm doing this sort of messy because I want it to have a jungly vibe, if you get what I mean. Sort of grunge jungle mix. So I don't want it to look too smooth and pretty because I'm going to be blotting it with the tissue to get a sort of wrinkly effect, as you will see here. So I'm continuing to fill in this background, and I'm trying to make it more dynamic than I usually do. And especially with watercolors, it's easier to do that because they just spread. But with markers, you have to go through a lot of coloring to get a background at all. And here's the final results. Well, not final, I'm still gonna work on it, and that's what I got so far. I'm just doing a quick wash over it with my number 7 round brush to hopefully take away a little bit of the darkness in some areas. And I'm just going to soak up some of that extra water once I'm done blotting it with my little eyeshadow applicator. There must be a name for that I just don't know. I'll look that up and I'll put it in the description below. So I'm just soaking up some of the water from the piece and putting more on, I guess, because I wanted some light patches and some dark patches because I like to make interesting art that your eye gravitates to. I didn't want it to be just the lettering, so I'm also making some little splotches, I guess you could say, with this eyeshadow applicator. And you can also paint with this. It holds a lot of paint. Again, I said it's a sponge, which is super fun. I think these would work really well on pan pastels, which I don't use, but if you do use them, you might want to give it a try and let me know how it goes. So now that I'm done with the background, I'm going to be using my more concentrated paint with my number 1 round brush to write the words Sap Green, because this is basically a giant elaborate swatch And I'm like, why don't you have fun with the colors and say this is this color and I like this color and I don't know where this is going. So I'm just doing the hand lettering here, and I don't know, I made up my own font, I guess. Somebody told me not to do that, but it worked out fine for me, so I don't really see the reason not to. Hand lettering just isn't my thing, but I would like to know how to do it, just because that's a skill that might be good to have. So I'm just thickening the lines to make it more interesting. The down lines are the ones that I'm thickening, and the up lines I am not. So that's how you know which lines to thicken. And but I did add some accents, so it's not only those lines. Now for this part, I did put a little water in the paint just to make it a little bit more fluid for the fun font, I guess, the more cursive-y font. I don't know what's going on with my lighting, but it looks super weird. I have no idea what happened. I think it was just getting later and the sun went down, because that's what the sun does. Wow, Sophia, stating the obvious. And it was really fun to do the E's. I don't know why. I really like doing E's in this style of writing. I don't know. It's just a fun thing for me. And as I said again, it's not perfect because for me, hand lettering is just a hobby and that's it. I want to focus on more of my person art, portrait art. I don't know what you would call that, but that's my focus right now. So I'm now making a leaf because I like leaves and I wanted to have a picture in there somewhere. And also I'm using my little thing, the thing underneath the stick, to make lines in the leaf where the paint isn't, and that way there is white lines that look like veins. So here is the final product. I hope you like it. I also did another one in a color. I'll have you guess what the color is, but if you send me your art, I will send you the PDF at the end of the month and you can see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like.